We can start now, Sanjay.
Okay.
We are already live. Yes.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. We can start.
Hello guys, good morning.
Good morning.
Am I audible?
Yes,
Ma'am? Okay.
yes, sir.
So today, Pharma Intelligence has arranged one session, important session for NIPER aspirants. Today we have host. Today we have a guest from one of the Tier 1 college at NIPER Mohali, and he is none other than Deepak Chaudhary, who has scored NIPER rank 2 in 2019. So he will be guiding us, and he will be answering all questions at the end of the session. Before starting the session, we have uh, Professor Monali Patil from SVKM Institute of Dhule. She will introduce the session, and then we'll start the actual session. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, all of you. On behalf of Shri Vileparle Kelvani Mandal's Institute of Pharmacy Dhule, I, Miss Mrunali Patil, would like to welcome you all in this great event. I welcome you today's personality, that Deepak Chaudhary sir. Okay. We all are present here at this bright morning to get our minds enlightened by the eminent personality available with us, who is going to guide our students. All aspiring candidates who are willing to prepare for NIPER JEE in coming future, as well as who are already in the process, they shall get boost knowledge shared by Deepak Chaudhary sir, so that they can reach the heights and achieve their dreams. Okay. Not taking much time, I would like to introduce our eminent personality, Deepak Chaudhary. He is NIPER JEE AIR 1 holder in the previous year. He completed his pharmacy, B Pharmacy from Saraswati Vidya Bhavan's College of Pharmacy, and after that he got admitted into the NIPER Mohali. So I welcome you, sir. Thanks for accepting our invitation. As all our students are eager to hear by him, and they have uh, uh, without taking much time, I would like to hand over the session towards Deepak sir. Thank you, sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for the very kind introduction. Uh, am I audible perfectly?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay, that's great. I think a voice is echoing.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. You are audible.
Ma'am, but can you mute? Yeah, great. Thank you. So I'm sharing my screen. Is the screen visible?
Yeah, screen is visible. We can shift on PowerPoint mode so we can see whole presentation.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I will do that. Thank you. Uh, I will what I will doing the presentation. What I will do is that I will keep my camera off to avoid any network issue. So, yes. Yeah, so we can start with the presentation. So good morning, everyone. I hope you're doing well. And uh, in this session today, I want this session to be a one-spot point for all the queries you have related to the NIPER exams. So whether it may be how to prepare for the NIPER exam, what is NIPER exam, and what different things we should do for the NIPER exam when you compare with the GPAT exams, and what resources, materials, everything, and how many questions we should solve, etc. All the kind of minute details will be captured in this presentations. So without any further delay, let's start with the presentation today. So this is a flow of this presentation today. Going with the rituals, we will start with the first introduction, then preparation phase, and then what books we should and what strategies we should refer, and what material, what resources, and what extra we should refer from the for the NIPER point of view. And also, I will share with my strategy what I did and what my mistake was, so that you guys can learn from those mistakes and prepare well. At last, we will discuss why NIPER, and I think that any presentation we can give, there are lots of questions which remain unanswered, and some points will be remain untouched. So you guys can ask questions at the end. So moving ahead with the introduction first, as we all know, what NIPER is. NIPER is an institution which is a National Institute of Pharmaceutical Education and Research. So it is one of the considered as the premium most institutions in the India, and also it's a well recognized all over the world. So for example, for all those students who are from the engineering background, so they have a dream, like they want to study from IITs and NITs and all the kind of reputed institutes of technology. So for a pharma students, these NIPERs are equivalent to the IITs as well as NITs, as it stands for National Institute of, so it is equivalent to the NITs or as well. So it was established in 26 June 1998 from the NIPER Act, and from those act, the first NIPER was established in NIPER in the Chandigarh, which is also called as NIPER SAS Nagar in the Mohali itself. And apart from that, there are subsequently more 6 NIPERs which are established all over the India. So total making the count of 7 NIPERs up to till date. So these institutions are recognized as institutes of national importance. So these institutes are under the Ministry of the Welfare and Chemical Fertilizers, and they receive the funding from the government of India. So we will discuss very brief what these NIPERs and where these NIPERs are. As you can see in the slide, there are 7 NIPERs, and we can see NIPER SAS Nagar in the extreme north, in the NIPER Ahmedabad in the western zone, and NIPER Hyderabad in the south central, and the NIPER Guwahati, NIPER Eli, NIPER Hajipur, NIPER Kolkata at the eastern side of the India. So reason why, if you look at the 7 NIPERs, and among these NIPERs, if you consider the most premium most, so it is a list of the most premium most from the list of premium institutes. All these institutes are premium, but from those also, this NIPER SAS Nagar Mohali and NIPER Ahmedabad and NIPER Hyderabad are considered to be most creamy NIPERs if you consider. So as they require higher NIPER rank, so these are considered to be more privileged. Moving on to NIPER Ahmedabad, as we can see here, the seat distributions and the courses which are being offered. The NIPER Ahmedabad offer courses in MS Pharm, MBA. Also, they were the pioneer in the starting of the medical devices course. So this is NIPER Hyderabad. As you can see, it also offers the courses on MS Pharm, MTech, and Pharma MBA. And both the NIPER Ahmedabad and both NIPER Hyderabad has around seat distribution around 150 and 150 plus. So coming over to the most important and the most premium most, which is the NIPER Mohali. So it offers courses in MS Pharm, M Pharm, MTech, MBA, and etc. and lot of things. And as you can see in the NIPER Mohali, there are some courses which are exclusively present in NIPER Mohali and not offered in other institutions. So if you look at these various courses, such as we can find clinical research, pharmacy practice, then traditional medicines, pharmaceutical technology, process chemistry. So these are the few of the subjects which are exclusively offered in the NIPER Mohali. And if you can consider the diversity of the subjects, making it a very great place to learn various disciplines of the subjects. And all these 3 NIPERs, NIPER Ahmedabad, Hyderabad, Mohali, offers the MBA program as well. So this year NIPER Mohali started a medical devices course. A new course it's been started in NIPER Mohali. 10 to 12 seats are there for those courses as well. So as we have discussed about the various NIPERs, the key entry to the NIPER is from the NIPER JEE exams. So consider at this point of time, those people who had already attempted GPAT exam, they might be knowing that what NIPER exam will be, because as they're targeting for the NIPER. But all those people who are watching from the second year or third year, or any people, any students having the doubt related to NIPER. So first of all, as we all know that if you want to win a battle, you should know your enemy first. And similarly, if you want to crack an exam, you should know your exam first. So coming ahead with the very differences between the GPAT as well as NIPER, because you should know about all the kind of details, minute details, which is going to help you in the preparation. So as we can see in the GPAT as well as NIPER, we have 125 questions, each carrying a 4 marks in the GPAT, making it a marks of 500 total. In NIPER, we all know it's a 200 marks question. One question carries 1 marks, making to it 200 marks maximum. And negative marking is same, 1/4 for all the both the exams, GPAT as well as NIPER. So 1/4 of 4 marks is -1, and 1/4 of 1 marks is 0.25. So we have those negative marking respectively. So as we already know that GPAT is having a 3 hours time duration, making it to 180 minutes. So it is the time duration is more in case of GPAT, but in case of the NIPER, if you see, the time duration is reduced. So there is a reduction in the time duration, and also there is an increase in the questions. Wait, I will start laser. There's a pointer, yeah. Yeah. So there are time duration is less, and the questions are more. And as you can see, what is the main requisite criteria in case of the GPAT is the conceptual clarity. So the questions in the GPAT are in the more depth. They are testing your conceptual clarity. They are testing your understanding related to a particular concept. But in case of the NIPER, as the questions are increased, the time duration is decreased. So we need a balance of the speed as well as an accuracy, which is a very requisite criteria for the cracking NIPER. Because if you don't have a speed, then you cannot solve the multiple questions, and if you don't have accuracy, then you can't get a proper right marks and to achieve a level from which we can get into NIPER. So this is a very important criteria. We should have a speed as well as accuracy. Coming to the questions, as we can see in GPAT, it has applicative questions more. Now, what do you mean by applicative questions? So there will be the length of the questions in the case of GPAT is a little bit more, because they frequently use the words such as if, not, but also, neither. So this kind of words, if they are in the question, it makes us to rethink again, like because it changes the meaning. For example, if the question is using nor, then it changes the or not, but also it changes the meaning of the question. So it is a little bit tricky, and sometimes options are also tricky in case of the GPAT. But in case of NIPER, if you can see, it's a very straightforward questions, and sometimes you can find the questions from the straight away from the reference book also. So it is a very straight questions, and also if you look at the options in the NIPER exam, what I have found is in a few questions, out of the four options, 2 options are even not related to the questions, and 2 options are there. So out of which you can eliminate easily one option, and we can mark easily. So that's why the elimination is very hard in case of the GPAT if you follow the elimination strategy, and elimination is easy in case of the NIPER. And also one more important point is there is a well-defined sections in the GPAT that you can see that you have pharmacology, pharmaceutics, pharmaceutical chemistry. All these kind of subjects and sections are included in GPAT, but in case of the NIPER, there's no such section. It's a rapid fire round. One question will be from pharmaceutics, one question will be from ecology, and next question will be from microbiology, and so on. It is not a proper section wise. The questions are in the non-repetitive, or you can say it is in the rapid fire round. And also one more thing, that in case of GPAT, we get the answer key, or answer key is revealed, like how many questions we have solved, and we can get the OMR sheet, as we all are aware. But in the case of NIPER, we don't get any OMR sheet as well, and we don't know how much questions went over accurate. So we only know that how much questions we attempted. That too, at the end of the test, we can see a number on the screen, like this much questions have been attempted. So this is only the criteria. This is only the data available when it comes to NIPER. So, and also one more very important distinguishing thing between the GPAT and NIPER is the core questions. The GPAT has only the core questions, which is related to only the pharma background. But when we come to NIPER, some of the questions are non-core also. So in this today's session, we are going to discuss all those points related to subjects and all these non-core questions as well. So we are going to discuss those points as well. Now, coming to as we have already discussed about the differences between the GPAT and NIPER. Now, next important point is like, sir, how to start for the NIPER preparation. So if you had not started preparation, or the ideal way to start, I think, in my opinion, is to first of all read the NIPER by Inamdar book. A book is there, NIPER by Inamdar. We should read that book because it provides a connecting link between the GPAT, which is we had given, and exam for which we are going to prepare. That's a NIPER. So it forms a connecting link in between the GPAT as well as NIPER. So read this first of all book, and book has a well-defined question papers, and also it has a lot of other topics which are not included in the GPAT syllabus. So that topic we have to specially prepare for the NIPER are included in this book as well. And in the starting of the book, you can find some thrust areas of the book. So thrust areas of the NIPER. Remember, guys, we are preparing for NIPER, and NIPER conducts a research, has some specialization in the research area. For example, these areas are called as a thrust area. And if you are applying to the NIPER will also expect that you should have some basic ideas related to about the research which is being conducted in the NIPER. So these are the thrust areas, or indirectly we can call as important topics. So these important topics are also being provided in the NIPER by Namdar in the starting few pages. We can also go through that. It provides a very important data for the NIPER. After solving the question papers in the NIPER by Namdar book, you can analyze the questions, like how many questions from which domain they are coming. For example, if there is a 200 marks, there are actually 100 marks question paper also and 200 marks question paper also in the book. And you can see some questions. We can analyze those questions, and you can see like how many questions are coming from one particular subject. For example, if you after analyzing many question papers, after solving question papers, you can see that these are the major subjects and these are the minor subjects. Of course, we are going to discuss those, but we can have a great analysis over there. Now, as you solve the papers, you find yourself in a zone that some areas or some concepts you actually don't know, or you identify your weak areas, or it is also called as a void zones, because those areas your preparation has been lagging. So you can have an idea that yeah, this is my weak area. I need to prepare at this stage also. Now, after that, you should get to the basics, read all the basics part, and because it will provide you idea on the basis of thrust areas as well. And also it will provide you ideas about your weakness. You know about where you are lagging behind and what you want to read, what you want to include. So it's a good to start with the basics. And also one more prerequisite criteria, I think, very important for the NIPER is the BPharm plus GPAT revision. If you revise the BPharm and GPAT revision 2 to 3 times, it's more than enough, I think. So as you already know about all the points, all the minute details, now you can start with the smart study. Don't go for entire reading. Just read the smart studies, considering the important topics as well. The one more important point is test series. How much test series you solve, it gives a clear-cut idea where you stand. For example, if you get a good marks in test series, then definitely you can expect a good score in NIPER as well. So you should practice daily all the points and evaluate yourself timely. So evaluate yourself timely means you can solve a question paper or a mock test in a week, or in between 4 to 5 days, or even you can practice solving question papers daily on the daily basis. So this can help to evaluate yourself on the timely basis, and it is very important to evaluate yourself, because when you are continuously preparing for the exam, you should know where you stand. So this is very important when it's come to preparation point of view. Now, as many people have start exam preparation either earlier or late, so they have a different kind of a material, different notes, or different how much material they want to cover for the exam. So it may be less for students who actually started very early, because they're already covering the syllabus, and it can be different it can vary from student to student. So for that reason, you need to be motivated, because you want to cover the entire syllabus, because the date of the exam is not going to change. Okay, so you need to cover all the syllabus, all the points before the exam. So that's why you need to be motivated highly, and we also need to be consistent, because without consistency we cannot complete. Now, coming to the important analysis from the NIPER question paper, what I found is the important subject and the major subjects which are pharmacology, pharmaceutics, and the chemistry. So these form the major subjects in the NIPER. Also, these subjects are major in case of the GPAT as well. So if you look at the, we are also going to discuss on the how to study for this each and every subject. And apart from these areas, the minor subjects also play a very important role. So, and also there are non-core questions which play a very important role when it comes to NIPER point of view. Coming to the minor subjects, as we can see, there are lots of minor subjects, 8 minor subjects, important minor subjects: pharmacognosy, microbiology, biochemistry, biotechnology, and rest of subjects as we can see on the screen. So coming from the pharmaceutical engineering, I think for the minor subjects, we don't need to refer to the reference books, because the questions are very less, and it is not going to be that much worthy to read the entire reference books for a particular subject and then expecting the questions. It will be time consuming as well, and it will be lengthy also. So coming to the pharmaceutical engineering, you can refer it from the Pearson book as well. And in the case of the jurisprudence, I think we should refer minimum notes, which is highly extracted notes, which is given in the Pearson book. So you can refer that book for the jurisprudence as well. And the majority of the questions are being from the schedules and different kind of forms and different kind of the bodies. For example, PCI body, DTAP body, all these bodies, and how much members are there, which members is there. And these all points are included in the jurisprudence, and these are only important and not the entire other things. So looking at the management, very few questions are there from the management, and that too will be easily answerable. And when it comes to biostatistics, some of the formulas related to mean, standard deviation, or median, that can become in the biostatistics. So these are from the subjects which is a minor subject. Extremely less questions are there from these areas. Now, in the minor subject list, there's a biotechnology also. So this biotechnology, some few questions you can see, but these questions will be more than these overall subjects. So biotechnology also becomes one of the important minor subject. The coming to the very important minor subject, which is pharmacognosy, microbiology, and biochemistry. So you can see these questions more from these subjects in the NIPER paper. So when it comes to NIPER exam, the biochemistry focus on the NIPER exam increases. Okay, and in the case of we will start with the pharmacognosy first. So for the pharmacognosy, the important topics in the pharmacognosy are the alkaloids, glycosides, terpenoids, and the carbohydrates. So you can refer it from the Pearson book as well. It is given in a very nice manner in the Pearson: alkaloids, glycosides, and terpenoids, and carbohydrates. As we compare these topics, carbohydrates actually we can give a less focus also, but the major important topics is alkaloid, glycoside, and terpenoids. You can cover from Pearson. And also one more thing, which what I did was I also referred it from Muhammad Ali book. As you might be aware of that book, Muhammad Ali. It's a very nice book, and it is especially for the MCQ solving. So it has around 1,000 MCQs related to pharmacognosy, or it's a lot of MCQs there in the book. So I read before that MCQs. There are also some theories related to a particular subject. So for pharmacognosy, I also read those theories in that book as well. And if you want to refer a reference book, then it can work well. But don't go to refer each and every topic of the reference book, because it is not worthy, and also it will take a lot of time. Instead, you can read alkaloids, glycosides, and terpenoids chapters from the Kokate or any other reference book. Now, coming to the microbiology and the biochemistry, these are subjects very important. But at the same time, if you look at the biochemistry, you can refer the Satyanarayan book, which is a good book. But at the same time, as we already discussed, like if you read the entire book, it's not worthy. But you should specialize on a particular topics as well. So in the case of the for this both the subjects, the books like Pearson has a very good details about the all the important topics and all the questions which are really important from the NIPER point of view. You can refer it from the Pearson. One more book which is there, I referred for these two subjects also, was the same book which I referred for pharmacognosy, that was Muhammad Ali. So Muhammad Ali book was also very good details, actually more detailed than the Pearson. So some theories there in the for the microbiology and the biochemistry. And if you also read the GPAT by Inamdar book, it also has the particular dedicated sections for these subjects at the end of the book. And in the starting of the book for the GPAT by Inamdar, so there is a question papers there. So in the question papers, and at the last there is answers, and how the answer how the answer is there for the particular question, and explanation is given in a very well defined manner. So we can definitely refer that explanation for this subject of microbiology as well as the biochemistry. Now coming to the very important point, sir, how to solve non-core questions. Many people bother about non-core questions, but if you can see the trend of the NIPER question papers from the last few years, you can see that out of the after the 200 questions, there will be of non-core questions will be of 10 to 20 questions, or not more than 25 questions, max to max. So there will be not more than 25 questions, and out of those 25 questions, the 10 questions will be very easy that you can solve without any practice also. But out of those 10 questions, and remaining 10 questions will require a little bit more time, because as we are restricted by the 36 seconds only for one particular question. But for those questions, it might take more time, because they might make you think more. And out of those questions, some questions may be factual questions. So that requires some preparation. This actually the list of the topics for the non-core questions I prepared at my preparation, during my preparation. And we can also take a snapshot of this, and we can analyze that how much topics has been covered from the non-core syllabus. But what are my emphasis on the non-core if you questions is like don't focus non-core questions so much, and don't get bothered about non-core questions too much, because you can easily solve these non-core questions within a minimum practice also. But as this you can see, the list is very high, and the list can it is not confined to this list. The more anything out of the list can also be asked in the non-core questions. So definitely it don't has any have any proper particular well defined syllabus. So that's why going for this going behind this is that much not worthy. But if you can look at this, you can see aptitude based questions are also there. In the logical reasoning questions are there. So for example, I usually tell my juniors to write in the in the NIPER exam, you will get a blank paper and write ABCD on that paper. So write the ABCD on the paper and write numericals 1, 2, 3, 4 in ahead of these alphabets. Now some of the questions which are being asked is like, for example, A corresponds to D, then E corresponds to a question mark. So as we know that A corresponds to D, it means that there's a two difference, that is a B and C, two gap of two alphabet is there. So similarly for E also there will be a gap of two alphabets. So it is going to reduce your time when you solve the questions. Also this can be done mentally also, but to reduce the chance of the errors, you can follow this practice. It will hardly take any time. And also important point for the non-core questions is current affairs, which can be national and international. So you can refer all the international news related. Nowadays the Tokyo Olympics has been there, and so you can also refer those news, but don't go into much detail about every news. You can even cover these points from the television also. And apart from those pharma news, various online materials, like for example any various Instagram pages and various other material is there on the which provides the latest information on the pharma news. You can also refer those. Very important from the NIPER point of view is the FDA drug approvals. So these questions are usually there in the NIPER exam, and we can check the US FDA website for the drug approvals. And I will particularly say that focus on the new drug approvals and not on the generic drug approvals, and also focus on those new drug approvals for which they are treating very significant disease, for example anti-cancers or immunologicals. Such kind of drugs, new drug approvals, you should definitely memorize, and for which diseases they are being used. So this is very important in case of the NIPER. And apart from those, any pharma industry news, like for example takeovers, the recent example is that Thyrocare of the Pharma is taking 66% in the Thyrocare. So, or in any historic a very good takeover was Ranbaxy. Sun Pharma took over the Ranbaxy. So such kind of acquisitions, and who is the CEO of which companies, for example, nowadays which is trending, Serum Institute of India, you can find it everywhere in the news, in the media. So who is the CEO of this company, who is the CEO of the major Indian pharma companies, that can also be another kind of question. You can also prepare those points. Apart from that, we can also prepare like which are the headquarters, for example. They can ask, for example, this is the XYZ company, for example, Dr. Reddy. Dr. Reddy has its headquarter in which area? So these kind of questions are also there. I remember the question was on the who is the CEO of the Lupin Labs. So actually, I was also interested to learn about the business. I used to read about business articles and all. So I got the answer that it was Sudesh Bandhu Gupta sir. So I found that answer very easily. So you can also look for the CEOs as well. Now coming to the softwares, these questions are also being asked in the NIPER frequently. You can cover it from the NIPER by Namdar book. At the last few pages of the NIPER by Namdar book, there are some few 2 pages for the software, so you can also read those. Coming to the important point, Nobel Prizes. Nobel Prizes questions are also been there, and particularly focus on the Indian Nobel Prize winners, so Indian scientists who had won the Nobel Prizes, and also synonyms, antonyms. We can usually do this. And apart from those, simple max formula questions are also there in the NIPER. For example, profit loss questions, and also questions on the Pythagoras theorem base. These are very simple and basics you can solve, and it doesn't require any kind of preparation, I think. For example, another questions are famous brands question. For example, any kind of drug product, who is the owner of those product, or that brand resembles to which active ingredient in that product. For example, if you look at the Lipitor is a brand for the atorvastatin. Such kind of drugs are who owns that product. So such kind of questions you can see in the NIPER exam. Apart from those, family relation type of questions are also frequently observed. And one more important thing, in the last year also and this year also, I will say that special focus on the COVID, because nowadays a lot of new innovations are related to the COVID. Lots of vaccines are there in the various clinical phases. Which vaccines are approved by the regulatory bodies in India, and how many doses are there? What is the gap duration in between the 2 doses? A lot of material is available on the COVID. So I think you should definitely walk with the trend. So you should also read on the COVID, and this can be question in the non-core part. So apart from those minor areas, as we have discussed all the minor subjects and non-core questions, so these are the something books we should do extra apart from this reading the syllabus of the BPharm or GPAT. So this is the very important. This we can see Pearson Guide to GPAT. This 4 books: Pearson Guide to GPAT, NIPER by GPAT by Namdar, NIPER by Namdar, and the one book which I recommended was Pharma Rocks booklet. So Pearson Guide, it has a highly extracted material from all the reference book. I think all the kind of important points is been there in this book. I think definitely this book is must book for everyone who is preparing for even GPAT or NIPER. So definitely we should revise these books as much as we can. Apart from that, GPAT by Namdar book, it has a lots of question papers of the GATE exams as well as GPAT exams from past few years, and also it has explanation toward the questions. So we can also read the explanation. It is given in very concise manner, and a lot of extra information you can find in that in those explanation. Apart from that, there is a lot of dedicated sections for a particular subject at the ending part. So we can also read the theory and we can solve the MCQs. So MCQ solving practice can be done in a well manner in the from these two books. And also, if you consider the NIPER by Namdar, as we already said, it forms a connecting or a transition book in between the GPAT as well as NIPER. So it's very important to read the NIPER by Namdar. Lots of perspectives related to NIPER will be will be understood by this reading this book. These books are very important, and apart from that, there's a book, Pharma Rocks booklet. Some my mentor recommended to read this Pharma Rocks booklet. It has around 700 to 800 pages book, and out of the starting 100 to 200 pages are really very important because it contains a lots of chart and very important tabular data collected from the various reference books. So it can help you in the revision of those important values or any kind of drug-drug interactions, adverse all the kind of cover details, tabular details covering subjects of pharmacognosy, pharmacology, pharmaceutics. All those values we can be easily found in the starting few pages of this book. And apart from these books, the reference book also will play a major role in deciding your preparation. Coming to the reference books for the major subjects, as we can see, pharmacology, pharmaceutics, and the chemistry. These all forms the major subjects. Under the heading of the pharmaceutics, it covers the various subjects. For example, physical pharmacy, then modern pharmaceutics, biopharmaceutics, dispensing pharmacy, cosmetics. I think cosmetics questions are very less or very rarely asked in the NIPER and GPAT also. So if you don't refer cosmetics portion, then also it is okay, I think. So it covers lots of subtopics inside the pharmaceutics. Also, in case of chemistry, it contains a lot of subtopics. For example, analytical chemistry, biochemistry, organic chemistry, inorganic chemistry. So these all topics we are going to discuss today. For example, in the ecology, your reference books, we can use the KD Tripathi as well as Spurge Gupta or Rangan-Dale. Rangan-Dale has a little bit tough language. So depending on your level, we can just read these books. KD Tripathi and Spurge Gupta. KD Tripathi is much more comprehensive book, much more detailed book than the Spurge Gupta. I wrote first the KD Tripathi book, and then my mentor recommended to read Spurge Gupta. So after reading Spurge Gupta, I found that this book has also very great information in a very limited words. So very only important points has been given in this Spurge Gupta, that and also some mnemonics are there, so that can definitely help in your preparation. So coming to the pharmaceutics, these books are the Lackman Martin. Lackman forms one of the standard book for the pharmaceutics. But what I recommend is that you should not read entire chapter to chapter from the every reference book, as we have mentioned here. We should not refer entire chapter to chapter. Instead, look for the thrust areas or look for the important topics and read only those chapters. But in case of Lackman, I refer only the tablet capsule part, parenteral parts, and the microencapsulation part, and the targeted drug delivery, controlled drug delivery. So those topics I covered from the Lackman. And for the forming the base of the physical pharmacy, some few concepts clarification, I referred Martin book, and Brahmankar was a very good book for the biopharmaceutics. Of course, we should not go into much more detail because, as we already discussed in the difference between the GPAT and NIPER, the questions in the NIPER are usually straightforward. They are not much detailed. So even if you read in detail, it's good, but I think it is going to take much more time. Now coming ahead to the chemistry, so the important topics in the chemistries are organic chemistry. And one more mistake which I did during my preparation was I actually read the SAR point and all the important medicinal chemistry points. I focus more on the medicinal chemistry, but when I see my paper in the GPAT 2020, I can see only 2 questions from the pharmaceutical chemistry. So actually that disappointed me, and that also enlightened me to study on the organic chemistry, more on the organic chemistry basics, so that we can cover from the Morrison and Boyd and Claydon also. So of course, you should not go into every chapter into much detail. You can just understand those. You can learn those concepts in which we are weak in. So very basics, OC basics are really very important. And apart from this, referring to these books, we can also refer 12th standard books of the organic chemistry. So in the 12th standard books, there are few chapters. For example, alcohol, phenols, ethers, and alkyl halides. That chapters is there. Nitrogen containing compounds, carbonyl containing compounds. These also chapters are also forms of good basics. So some of the name reactions I found in NIPER book were directly from those topics also, so which are not been taught to us in the graduation days, but we can found the link over there. So that also can be a complementary towards your preparation. And apart from that, biomolecules chapter, polymers chapter, and chemistry in everyday life can also be can also form a very good basics for the organic chemistry. Apart from that, in the chemistry part, you can have a very good understanding of the spectroscopies from the Pavia book. I read NMR and IR and mass from the Pavia, and I usually refer the Chatwal book also for the chromatographies. But you can just read the instrumentation part. Which, I think no, sorry, we should not read instrumentation part. We should focus on the mechanism or the principle by which this machineries operate. So don't focus on the instrumentation part, like you know. So the questions are usually rare on this instrumentation part. The questions are majorly on the working part, and also the lots of chromatographies. All the chromatographies basic principle we should be aware of. This we can also refer Silverstein and Scoop book, but I recommend to the starting two books. I think these are more than enough. And also apart from that, you can refer Pearson, because Pearson has also highly extracted material, and all the important points are covered in that book. As we had discussed, like this was the reference book we should read. The next obvious question is how to read this reference books. So as we already discussed that we should not go word to word, or not to go chapter to chapter. So depending upon the topics, you should refer the reference books. So for example, in the Lachman, as we have discussed that we had I had referred Lachman for only few topics and not the entire book to book or chapter to chapter. I not referred those. So similar practice we can also do. We can also be done. And in the case of the Sparsh Gupta and KD Tripathi, this I think Sparsh Gupta book is which if you are referring the Sparsh Gupta book, then you should read entire chapters, because every point, every line has something meaning, and questions can become from those areas. So if you are reading Sparsh Gupta, then I think you should read the entire book. But if you are focusing on the KD Tripathi book, a lot of things can be skipped. For example, KD Tripathi focus on each particular drug, individual drug, and gives a paragraph about it. So you do not need to remember all or memorize all the properties like T half or all the kind of elimination properties. All the properties we should not be aware about. You can just read about the mechanisms and classification, which forms the basic for the both GPAT as well as NIPER. So you can refer those. Coming to the important points, like approach while attempting paper, as we know that it's a 200 marks question, 200 marks paper, and the time duration is less. So what people do is that in the hurry, they read the questions once and they skip some few words in the hurry, and they again read the question again, and again again look at the options. They forget some options, again read the question. So this kind of practice, it takes a more time. So that's why we should read the questions and options very carefully in the first time itself. As we already know that we have 36 seconds per question, so it's a really very less time. But I think some questions are very straightforward. So even after looking at the line, you can directly relate with the options present over there. So I think 36 seconds time is enough for those core questions. But for some of the non-core questions, for some of the non-core questions, you might require some extra thinking. So for those questions, I think 36 seconds is less time, but that can be adjusted at the by some strategies. So we'll discuss those strategies also. So try to attempt the maximum questions. If you want to get into the get a good score, then definitely maximum questions attempting is the key to get into the great score. But also keep in mind that you should have the accuracy and more accuracy, because if you have the more attempts but lesser accuracy, the marks is going to decrease. So try to solve non-core question at last. I will tell the reason in the upcoming slides. And take calculated risk. Some of the questions here we can find that they are very straightforward and you know the answer very well. But some of the questions, for example, you are 60% confident that I think that this answer should be there, and 40% you are not confident. And so for some questions you might be 70-30. So for those questions, I think you can take the calculated risk, particularly for the 70-30 or 80-20. So we should take a calculated risk and not go for blind marking. And don't mark, unmark, and mark. This is the common practice, I think, I found in many of my colleagues also. So what they do is first they mark the question, mark a particular option, and then again they unmark, thinking that it might be correct or not. Then again they mark. So such kind of practice, if you are doing, it is increasing the chance of the negatives. Okay, so believe your subconscious mind. The whichever option you are marking at the first, don't change it, please, because that the probability of getting that option correct is more when you mark it first. So don't mark, unmark, and again mark. So this is an important point. And be calm and mentally prepared, because your mind works very in a good manner when you are mentally prepared as well as calm. So don't take any kind of pressure or stress during the exam. Very coming to the very important questions and most frequently asked questions: how many questions to be attempted for NIPER exam? As we know that NIPER exam don't reveal the answer key, and we are not aware about how many questions we have actually solved. We know how many questions we actually got corrected. So that's why it becomes very important. But if you look at the 75% marks, if you get into NIPER, then definitely congratulations from my end, because you are getting a rank under top 100 or probably top 50. Because uh, because if you find the air all in the rank one ranker, he has the marks at about 160 to 170 in between. So even if you get around 150 plus score, then definitely it's a really good indicator that you are in the top ranks in between 100 or 50 probably. So you can get into this. I think 160 to 170 total marks we are talking about. We are not talking about the attempts, because attempts can be varied. For example, someone can get into this 160 to 170 marks by exactly solving 160 marks, 160 questions. But some other student can also attempt more than 170 marks and can get into this range due to some negative marking. So the overall aim of ours should be to get into this score and optimize the attempts accordingly. So either you can increase your accuracy or increase attempts. If you have the both combination of accuracy as well as attempts, so definitely you are having a very good chance to crack an NIPER and get a good rank. Because if you are having an increased attempts, it means that whatever you are attempting is accurate also. So that definitely increases the chance to get into the a good, our desirable score, that's 160 to 170. And as we already discussed, never go for blind marking. What happens that whenever you are solving the question paper, some questions actually we miss out at the end. So what we do is we just mark the questions without even looking at the options. I please tell you that please don't do this practice, because it increases the chance of negative marking. Don't do this, because even if you are getting a one negative marking, one question wrong, then you are 1.25 marks behind. And even at the 0.25 marks can make a difference, a lot difference. So don't go for negative blind marking, and practice with the multiple test series or mocks. As many test series you solve, as much confidence you gain, and that will increase your confidence as well as increase your accuracy, and you will get to know that where you stand, and that is definitely going to help you for the exam. So overall, in the nutshell, I think for a particular, if a satisfactory attempts will be more than 150, and if you get around 150 plus score, it's considered to be quite decent. So actually, this chart shows like a relation between the attempts as well as the total marks. So as this mark in the green, it means this range. If you get into that, definitely means that you are under, I think, a good rank, because in 160 to 170 total marks is really good marks. And either you can attempt 165 marks by directly attempting 165 marks without any wrong. So this is a very idealistic situation, I think, which rarely exists. But what I want to tell is that if you have if you have solved more questions, if you have a more attempts, but if it has a lesser accuracy, if you have a more wrong questions, so you are definitely losing the marks. Okay, you are losing the marks. That's only I want to make our point here, that if you are increasing the attempts, keep in mind that to take a calculated risk, and so that the total marks is you can be in the 160 to 170 zone or greater than 150. So coming to the important point, B-day preparation, as we already know how to study, as we already discussed about all the points related to the preparation approaches while solving the paper. Now coming to the very important D-day preparation. I think before the exam, locate the exam center before 1 day prior. As we know that in the today's inconvenience, because a lot of inconvenience are there. For example, related to transportation issues and any other issues. So definitely we should locate the exam center before any to provide or to avoid any other problems. Then stop preparing day before the exam. This is very important. Stop preparing day before the exam, or even don't look for the notes at the during the exam day. So what happens is that when you are looking at the notes and some other students also referring to the notes, and at that time you know that array, this topic I forgot to read this topic, then it makes you anxious, and this anxiety can hamper your performance. Your mind need to be very stable at that time, and the one most the very important factor which is going to affect your mind is the this getting enough sleep. Remember the NIPER exam is around only 2 hour time duration. The 2 hour time duration depend you know 2 hour time duration, it's going to decide your 2 to 3 months preparation time. So definitely for to become a proactive or to be active at those 2 hours, you should get enough proper sleep. So don't compromise with the sleep, and train hard your mind, I think, and get a strategy, get a plan A, plan B. If you get a carry a question, you should have a particular figure in your mind, like this much questions I want to attempt in the exam, before the exam, and if this much questions I'm not getting, then what will my second plan? I will focus on this. This much strategy we should already have in your mind, and carry important steps, carry all the admit cards. For our case, we had all the affidavits also, so carry those important stuffs without fail. And I think during that, in our experience, when we gave the exam, we were told to wear the mask for the entire 2 hours. So if you're practicing the mock test, also practice with the mask. Okay, so this is important point. And after exam, please keep calm, because we perform better when you're calm. Focus on your screen and manage your time well, and also take calculated risk for the questions. For those you believe that you have, I think 80% guarantee that it is going to be accurate. So for 80-20 or 70-30, I think we should take risk. We should properly assess the risk and then mark the answer. Coming to the very important points, key points to remember, like this is the quality matters over the quantity. So it for a same topic to read, some other one person need 5 hours and other person may require 10 hours. So it depends upon the it is not about the quantity, it depends upon the quality. Second point is the BPharm and GPAT syllabus is very, very important for the NIPER also, as this is the many of the points are repetitive in these two competitive exams. So it is a cumulative effort. Remember, all the lectures you have attempted in the colleges, all the lectures you attempted in the test classes, all the test series you have solved. It's a cumulative effect of all the preparation you had done. So one more important point, like making notes is good or bad. It's a very debatable topic. Many people will recommend that make notes, and many people will recommend that do not make notes. Of course, making notes is a good, but for a person like me, I never made any notes. The reason was very simple, because extraction theory works well. Now, what's extraction theory? Now, I've particularly focused on these books like Pearson, Inamdar, and NIPER by Inamdar and Pharma Rocks. So actually, the material in those books are highly extracted material, and those important material is been taken from the reference book itself. So if you read those reference books, there's no point of making that writing again. So I will explain with you an example. For example, in the lab, if you want to extract one particular compound, for example, you want to extract a volatile compound and from a raw material. So only the volatile oil is important and not the raw material. So that goes in hand over here also. So there's a lot of information given in the reference book, which is not important for the NIPER point of view. Of course, it is important, it's informative, but it's not important for the NIPER point of view. So only the important or highly important points are given in this reference books of the Pearson, NIPER by Inamdar. All these books are there, GPAT by Inamdar. So this highly extracted material is there. So I think if you read those extracted material, there's no need to make notes. But if you reading the reference books, then I think you should make a notes. The basic understanding is most important. It's only the basics which is going to play a very crucial role in the NIPER. And there is nothing called so-called as a perfect plan or perfect strategy. Just wherever you are, just start now, start simple, and it definitely going to provide your fruit. It always view versus you. Don't compare yourself with other students. Like for example, a other student is learning these books. He has solved this much question papers. I'm way behind with him. Don't compare, because he is not going to write your questions. He's not going to write your paper. Okay, so it's only view versus view. So you have to be better from the previous better version of the day or day before yesterday. So you have to work on yourself, and nothing goes into waste. This is a very important point I want to make over here. Even for some cases, for some students, even they don't make it to NIPER, they don't get disappointed. Whatever efforts you have put, that never goes into the waste. because we can also target for other exams like central universities. So we can also target. You can target Manipal. Manipal entrance exam is also there. We can also target BITSAT for the Birla Institute of Technology. We can also target ICT Tech. So nothing goes into waste. So if you had read already, you have referred a lot of materials, then definitely you have a good knowledge and you can crack at least other exams also. So don't think in mind that, oh my god, this I have referred this much and I not got into the NIPER, so it is a waste. No, you can try for other exams also. So yeah, one more very important point: if you can aim higher, then definitely you can, and you believe in yourself that you can achieve, then you're definitely going to achieve. So coming to my strategy for the exams, like if you compare the last year also and this year also, the exam got postponed once time. In the last year, it got postponed 3 times, and in today's scenario also, the exam got postponed once. And exactly the scenario was the same in the parallel with the last year also. So I started my preparation. The exam of the NIPER was in the 20th September, and I started preparation in the first week of September. I knew that I was very late. Lots of questions it was there in my mind, like will I be able to cover the entire syllabus? But one thing which worked really very well for me was my preparation for the GPAT was very good, because I executed and planned the GPAT syllabus in a very well manner, and I was very confident about my preparation related to the GPAT and overall the pharma B Farm syllabus also. So that really helped me to crack for the NIPER exams. And as we all discussed in the previous point, like go for the non-core questions at last. I will share my experience. What happened, like when I saw the paper, I first marked those questions which were very I was very highly sure about, 100% sure about. I marked those questions, and even for those questions which require some critical thinking, or these questions are easy but require some thinking, I solved those questions later on. And I completely ignored the first of all non-core questions in the start. So in the first round, I attempted all the questions which were I was very confident about. Second, in the second round, I attempted those questions which require a little bit thinking, and at the last, I attempted non-core questions. So after the second round, I saw the time it was around 20 to 30 minutes were still remaining for the non-core questions. So definitely, it gave me 1 minute or more than 1 minute for the question. So that, from my experience, I can say that the non-core questions are very easy, but it requires some little more time. So if you can devote a more time to the non-core questions, the chances of getting right is increasing. So if you can follow the strategy, then you can cover the non-core questions also in a good manner, and also you are confident about the core questions also. So this was my strategy for the exam. Now, coming as we have discussed all the points related to the NIPER, related to exam, related to NIPERs, how to prepare for the NIPER, all the resources, materials, etc. Now, the obvious point is like, so why NIPER? So we will discuss this in a very brief, in a very short. This is the NRF ranking list for the pharmacy domain. You can see NIPER Mohali at the third position, and apart from this, NIPER Hyderabad and NIPER Ahmedabad also falls in the top 10 categories in the NRF ranking. So which is released by the government of India, as you can see over here. Now, these are the few other points which are complementary, like academics. Academics is very important. NRF ranking, brand value, it has a very good brand value and a well-established name overall in the industries, as well as in the globe also. It has a very good lab and research work equipped with lots of latest instruments and diversity and network. If you find other colleges for the post-graduation, you can find a limited students seat, for example, 50 to 60 seats only. But if you talk about NIPER Ahmedabad, Hyderabad, or Mohali, so this has a more than 150 seats. NIPER Mohali has around more than 250 seats for the first years. So definitely it provides a diverse areas, and also it provides the opportunity to network with a lot of students from the various states of the India. So also apart from this, a very important is alumni network of NIPER. Mohali, particularly being it the first NIPER established, it has a very strong alumni network, so that can definitely help you. And all these factors which we have discussed, it creates a fun while learning in NIPER. So remember, guys, self-belief and hard work will definitely and will always earn you success. So I think we have discussed all the points and covered all the aspects related to the exams, related to preparation point of view and approach while solving the papers. I think still there will be some questions, and we will be glad to take those questions.
Hello, people. If you have any question, you can type in the comment box. Then I will transfer it to the Deepak sir. Yes, if you have any question, you can type in the comment box.
I myself have one question, Deepak sir. So
Uh,
it's common from all of us. So how we can basically tackle the pressure and how we can stay focused during the examination. So can you please guide us on that?
Coming to the pressure handling point, the pressure usually comes when you are not prepared. This is the very important thing. If you have solved the multiple questions, if you have solved the multiple test series, if you look at the book list which I mentioned in the PPT, so you can find Pearson book. Pearson book itself has a lot of MCQs. NIPER by Namdar book itself has a lot of MCQs. GPAT by Namdar also has a lots of MCQs. Apart from that, if you practice a lot of mock tests, if you prepare for the mock test, it creates a kind of situation where you at a particular point you cover entire aspects in the all the subjects. So I think that creates add confidence. And apart from that, even if you solve the mock test and if you look at the score, your every score from the mock test, so if your mock test score is good, then definitely it creates a built confidence while attempting the question paper. And I think that's it.
Yeah,
okay.
thank you. So we
Uh,
have one question on the display. Sanjay, you can proceed.
yes, Deepak. If students want to go abroad, is it necessary to give NIPER or GPAT to get admission into foreign colleges? Do you have
Uh,
any idea about that?
Yes, if you are preparing for the, if you want to target MS, then you can also directly go for the, foreign countries. It doesn't require a GPAT or NIPER. But one more strategist we can use in the NIPER. It's the NIPER gives the degree of MS. So it is equivalent to degree which has been offered in the foreign universities also. So what we can do is we can prepare for the post graduation in NIPER, and from the NIPER you can get a PhD abroad easily. So I think this is a very widely used strategy for by many of the students. So rather than going directly in the masters abroad, they can, what they do is they complete their post graduation in the NIPER and then they go for the PhDs abroad. So that also opens the door to go for abroad if you are in the NIPER. That's a plus
Yes,
point.
yes, sure. And also, along with that, students should prepare for English language exams like TOEFL, GRE, whatever is the requirement for PhD. And also, doing a masters from NIPER and ICT, it gives added advantage to other students because those universities has name in the globe. And if you get a recommendation from professor from those universities, it will add value to your application. Okay, next question we have. From Rishi Raut. He's asking that is there any trick to remember cognosy drugs?
I think we can prepare mnemonics uh, with which we are comfortable. But I think we should not. In the case of NIPER, if you look at the, it is not important about the biological source. It is important about the phytoconstituents. So for example, the questions we can find in NIPER related to pharmacognosy will be related to which kind of ring is present in the particular kind of drug. For example, propan alkaloid, which ring is there. So apart from those important pharmacognosy identical tests, so these points are important in case of NIPER. But I think we should practice it more because there is no alternative to practice and work hard for that. Because it is confusing, I know also. But I think we can overcome it by using practicing more.
There is also question from Dinesh Raut about stress. So I think Deepak has given his second last slide on how to manage stress on the day and how to relieve yourself and do not take any stress before the exam. So next question
Yes.
we have like uh, how many marks required for NIPER Mohali or top three colleges from NIPER for handicapped students? Is there any quota for handicapped students? Do you have any
Yeah,
idea
yeah,
about that?
yeah. Yes, the quota is there for the handicapped students also. So I think actually the marks, actually the rank usually varies because there are very few seats. So it varies yearly. So there is a no fix. I can't comment on this because there is a no fix rank criteria. For example, if you compare Sutex for general category, so definitely I think we should be in the top 20 or 30. For that, we cannot say with those with the PWD category because it differs yearly on the yearly basis. Yeah, but you can try your best.
There's a question from Abuli Patil, how to study medicinal chemistry in 12 and its IUP nomenclature. I would say that as Deepak sir mentioned that you can prepare mnemonics for that, and also there are many social media pages on Instagram, Facebook. You can follow them because they are providing very delineated and very detailed information using mnemonics. So if you can't prepare mnemonics, then you will have already material there, so you can look for that. I would say.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, so I think that's all from audience regarding questions. I think it was a very informative session by Deepak Chaudhary, and I would say many aspirants have got what they wanted, and I think it's just 1 week away for exam, and I'm sure the way you have described about how to strategize before and go for the due date and how to crack the exam. So yeah, and preparation and strategies go hand in hand. Without that, you can't go for blank-minded for the exam. So and also I would like to thank SVKM Dhule for collaborating with Pharma Intelligence and giving this platform and interact with all the students. It wouldn't have been possible without your support, and I would like to thank Professor and Principal Samir Goel sir, Professor Usman sir, and Professor Munali ma'am, giving us this opportunity. So thank you everyone for attending this valuable session, and thank you Deepak Chaudhary for taking time out from your busy schedule and guiding aspirants towards their goal and to prepare for the exam.
Yeah, thank
So
you so much. Thank you so
next
much.
I would like to hand over the mic to Monali ma'am.
Thank you, sir. I would not have any words to describe the wonderful session. Deepak sir very wonderfully delivered, and he also answered the questions of our participants. So I can say this was a great session. I enjoyed, and I hope our students too enjoyed this session. I know they will be very benefited from your session. And again, I would like to thank Dr. Usman sir for making the necessary arrangement, as well as our respected principal Dr. Samir Goel sir. And last but not the least, I say thank to the Pharma Intelligence who accepted the invitation, and he arranged the speaker for the particular session. Thank you all of you. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you
I
so
would
much,
also
ma'am.
like to
I would
add.
also like to add.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sanjay sir,
Thank
for
you,
giving me
Sanjay sir, for giving me
opportunity
opportunity
to connect with the
to connect with the
younger me, because at the last year also I was preparing. It is very important to have something. If someone can give you a brief idea and a detailed idea, so I think I'm glad to be here, and thank you, Pharma Intelligence, along with Sanjay sir, to giving me opportunity to share my opinion with my juniors. Thank you so much, and best of luck for all the people who are going to give the exams. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you,
Yes.
Deepak. Yeah.
Thank you all, and I announce that session ends here.